In this video, I'm going to show you the difference between normal mode and sport mode in a Rivian R1T dual motor performance. I'm going to go through all the different settings, what happens to the suspension, what happens to the drivetrain, and I'm going to measure the 0 to 60 times in these modes. So the first thing we need to talk about is the suspension. So currently I have it on high mode. This is the highest mode that you can have it on without going into off-road mode. So in this mode, it says that it actually lowers to normal ride height once you get to 45 miles per hour. I have found that once you cross 48 miles per hour, that's when the car lowers and goes back into normal mode. Now, when you put the car into sport mode, so I put my foot on the brake and I click these little flags right here. It says, is it safe to lower the ride height? Please confirm. Yes, it is safe. And now the car will go ahead and lower. So you can see a difference in the ride height there. Now this shows the ride height on low. There's another setting that says ride height low, but you can see there's another bar underneath. So I'll click it again. And the car goes into lowest mode and will lower even further. It's incredible what the air suspension can do on this thing. That's been the most fun for me to adjust on that. But that's not the only thing that happens in performance mode. But before we get to that, this video is brought to you by INTOTHEAM.com. This is the second iteration of the t-shirts I've done with them, the Electric Escape t-shirt, because you've escaped, you're ripping through the desert. If you go to INTOTHEAM.com, use code Gjeebs, we will save 10% off on top of any other sales that they have going on. I've worn their athletic tees, their basic tees. They've been partnered with my channel now for over 3 years. They've been an excellent partner. Thousands of you have purchased their t-shirts and clothes and you love them. I really enjoy them. They're a great partner on the channel. It's hot out here in Phoenix, so I want things that fit well. They have athletic wear, basic tees. I really enjoy their stuff. So check the link in the description. Use code Gjeebs at checkout. INTOTHEAM. Thank you for sponsoring this video. Okay, so another thing in sport mode and the differences here. So you can see for ride feel, we are currently in firm. Firm is ridiculously firm. That would only be useful on a track. I prefer to put it in soft mode when you're in the lowest ride height. You only have 2 settings for the damping feel. When you go back into all-purpose mode, not only does the air suspension rise and give you 3 different settings for the air suspension in this mode, you also have 3 different settings for the feel of the suspension: firm, moderate, and soft. Now, when I got this car new, moderate didn't exist. It was a software update. They perfectly tuned the suspension. That was one of the things with the Rivian. I was like, it's nice to have the 2 different settings, but it would be nice if we had one, you know, right in that Goldilocks zone. You want those cookies to be just right. And that's exactly what moderate did. So it's really nice. That's the power of software in a vehicle, being able to make it better over time, which all of the software updates on my Rivian have done that. So that's been great. Now, the thing that you're probably curious about is, what is the 0 to 60 times? So we are going to test that, but there's one more difference in all-purpose mode. So this is a dual motor. There's also the quad motors that Rivian offers. Now, in the quad motor vehicles, you are able to go into conserve mode, which is not an option on a dual motor. The reason for that is because all 4 motors are always running in the quad motor, so you have to manually turn that off with a setting, and then the car turns into a front-wheel drive vehicle. But this vehicle, in order to keep up the efficiency and everything, actually automatically does that for you. And one of the ways you can tell that it's doing it, there's 2 ways. One is in this screen right here. You will see the motor temperature. So I'm currently in all-purpose mode, and the motor temperature is hotter in the front than it is in the rear. Now, it's only slightly different right now, but the reason for that is because it defaults over to the front motors and drives the car in front-wheel drive without you knowing. So as you're driving along here in a dual motor, once you're at like a consistent speed and you're not accelerating, so if I floor it, it will actually take a second for the rear motor to, and it just did it. It just decoupled. So you can actually hear in the vehicle, the audio is not going to pick it up, it's subtle, but you can hear it decouple and only power the front of the vehicle. And a lot of times when you're in all-purpose mode, that is why the motor temperature in the front will be warmer than the motor temperature in the rear. Now, if I put it into performance mode, it locks it into all-wheel drive all the time, and it also reduces the delay that you get when you floor the vehicle. If you floor the vehicle in all-purpose mode and it's only in front-wheel drive, it takes a second for that to click in, and then you get that big rush of power. But if you're locked into performance mode, you're gonna get that fast hit and the car really rips. I don't think there's actually a difference once you're moving in performance mode compared to all-purpose mode. If all-wheel drive is locked in, I don't think there's a difference in performance, but I don't really know. It just doesn't feel like it. The interesting thing will be the 0 to 60 time with all-purpose and performance mode. So that is what we are going to test to get the difference. Also, quick side story for you guys. Recently, I was talking to someone I hadn't seen in about a year and a half. I saw someone and I said, hey, last time I saw you, you were pregnant, right? How's the baby? And she paused and looked at me and goes, like, confused. And my heart went through the core of the earth, because I was like, oh my God, I've said the wrong thing. And I was right. She goes, wow, that's a really good memory. She was shocked at how good my memory was. So your boy's just on fire right now, and I just wanted to share that with you. I mean, you probably thought I was slipping. Absolutely not. I'm just nails, and that's really all. So let's get back to the video, and let's test the 0 to 60 time brought to you by, we need a sponsor. We need a brought to you by sponsor. That's what we need. We need a 0 to 60 test brought to you by who? Ozempic? Ozempic. Coca-Cola truck. What do you guys think? 0 to 60 time brought to you by Ozempic? I think it could be a hit. I think it could be a hit. All right, let's do that. So the 0 to 60 results were as follows. I turned the air conditioning off to make sure we were getting maximum performance out of the battery. The battery temperature stayed at 91 degrees for this test, and the temperature outside was 113 degrees. So in all-purpose mode, my first 0 to 60 time, which was verified, was 4.47 seconds. And if you want to buy one of these draggy devices, I'll have it linked in the description with a discount code. I use it a lot for my YouTube videos, but if you're just curious on your own, it's pretty useful. The second run I did, 0 to 60 time, still in all-purpose mode, 4.58 seconds, so really solid. And then we went to performance mode. And for this first run in performance mode, I put the suspension on the firm setting, and that got us 3.68 seconds. And then I put it in soft setting, and it gave us 3.66 seconds. So we are right within what it says from the factory. It's nice. It saves you about a second on your 0 to 60 time when you switch from all-purpose to performance mode. Now, the other thing I did is I just made a video showing my 6-month ownership update on this Rivian R1T. So you want to click this video right here to check out what's gone wrong, what I like and don't like. This video should be very helpful.